Welcome to the Leadership Spark podcast, where we equip you to be the great leader your people deserve. This is Corey, and today I want to tackle a question that a listener sent in. We love it whenever you, as our listeners, send in questions that help us create content for the podcast and what's relevant for you, what you're interested in. So please send those in if you have them. But the question was this: what was the first hard leadership decision Corey ever had to make? And what was the process he went through to land on the decision that he made? And so thinking back, honestly, on the first hard decision that I made is very difficult to do. I honestly believe that 90% of leadership decisions my senior in high school son could make. But there are 10% of decisions that need to be made as the leader that are very hard decisions to make. They're hard because they impact people. They're hard because maybe they are very risky to do. There's a lot at stake in this decision. It's hard because it's not the most popular decision to make. That's part of the cost of being a leader. And so there are definitely hard decisions. And when I think back on my career, some of the hardest decisions that I've had to make are with people. It's people not being a fit on the team and helping them exit to a different opportunity. It's people, maybe they're not in the right seat on the bus. They need to be part of our team, but they would be more valuable if they did something else or focused on something else. Anytime there's a decision that affects people, is a very, very hard decision. And so it's hard for me to think back to the first decision that I made that was hard. But I can tell you the question that I have always tried to answer whenever I have to make hard decisions. And so I want to share that with you. Maybe that's helpful for you to hear. Is there is one question that I'm trying to answer every time that I make a hard decision. And it's not just a hard decision. It's really any decision that I make, inside of work, outside of work. There's one question that I'm always trying to ask. And the question is, what is the wise thing to do? Now, that may not sound like rocket science. It's not. But when I think about other things that I do, the information that I'm trying to gather to be able to discern insights that will help me make a wise decision or the best decision, the counsel that I get from other people, whether it's inside my organization or outside, asking people to take a look at the context that I'm in and the decision that I have to make and share advice with me, consult me. All of these are things that I do for decisions that I have to make. But ultimately, what I'm trying to get to is what is the wise thing to do. Now, the question isn't what is the right thing to do? Because oftentimes, most of the time, when you're leading, it isn't a question of is it right or wrong. It isn't a question of black and white. It isn't a question of is this the right decision or the wrong decision. A lot of times, it's three right decisions that you can make. There isn't a wrong decision, but you're trying to discern what is the wise thing to do. It's not the right thing to do, it's the wise thing to do. Sometimes it's picking between three or four important things. They're all important, but what is the most important thing to do? What is the wise thing to do in this situation? And then ultimately discerning what that is and what the answer to that question is and being able to pull the trigger. Sometimes that's a fast process that I have to go through. I try to get information and insight and counsel and get advice, but I have to make a quick decision. So what is the wise thing to do? It needs to happen within a number of minutes at times. Other times it's over a number of days. Maybe it's strategy. Maybe it's about the direction of the company. Maybe it's about vision. Maybe it's about people. Those are not decisions that I make overnight. And so I'm trying to discern always what is the wise thing to do. When I face a hard decision, that's the number one question that I'm trying to answer. And I'm trying to get all of the inputs into that decision-making process that will allow me to understand, to be able to definitively and confidently answer what is the wise thing to do and then pull the trigger on the decision. And often there's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of risk. There are bets that I'm making. I get it wrong. Often I get it wrong, but I'm always trying to discern and pursue what is the wise thing to do. And so when I make hard decisions, that's the question I ask. I would encourage you to adopt that. Next time you need to make a decision as a leader, ask yourself, what is the wise thing to do? Get the insights that you need, information that you need, bring other people into the decision, get an outside-in perspective, get people outside your company or outside your team to give you advice. Do all of those things. They are the right thing to do. But ultimately, you have to pull the trigger. As the leader, you have to make the decision. You can't be paralyzed by indecision. You have to make the decision and discern what is the wise thing to do, make the decision, move forward, learn from it, iterate, and then you make the next best decision.